Think about the last time you tried to be just a better person overall. You tried to be healthier, you tried to be smarter with your spending, you tried to be just more on top of your game, I guess you could say. But it still felt like you were missing stuff. It still felt like it wasn't enough no matter how much you tried. Now let's talk about that for a second. Commonly, whenever we try to improve our lives and we try to get a lot better, we tend to focus on a few cornerstone habits and key areas of our life. We focus on exercising more, and we focus on spending less money and saving more money, and we focus on eating better and improving our diet. And while those are very important in life, they aren't the entire holistic picture of health and wellness and just efficiency, productivity, or whatever you might want to call it when it comes to being a better person. So I want to talk about the 5 categories, or at least the 5 categories I see that we should all give our attention to when it comes to being just an overall healthier person. The first of those 5 categories is the physical, and this is kind of self-explanatory, but it covers any form of exercise or movement that requires you to be healthier and to improve your physical health and well-being. The second category is going to be the emotional side, and that's going to be anything to do with anything for your emotional well-being. So that could be your journaling practices, meditation, just anything to keep your own emotions in check. The third category is going to be the spiritual side, and this kind of spills over into the emotional side as well. This is going to cover kind of your self-reflection, your contemplation about things in life, as well as any religious practices you might have. The fourth category is going to be your social health, and that's how you interact with others, how you connect with others on a regular basis, and your social relationships. And finally, the fifth category is going to be your intellectual health. What are you doing in your life to be a continuous learner? What are you doing to improve yourself on a continuous basis, not only in the physical aspects of health, but in the mental parts? Are you challenging yourself intellectually on a continuous basis to just keep growing and keep improving? Now, with 5 categories of health and wellness, it can seem a bit overwhelming. I know it does for me at times, at least. I'm always trying to balance as much as I can, whether it's exercise, eating right, and all these other pieces in my life, but it can seem overwhelming to have to add all these other categories to try and get a fully encompassed, productive, and efficient viewpoint on what total health and wellness is. And it's okay, it's allowed to feel a little bit overwhelming at times. I know it's hard enough with our busy schedules to fit in just enough time to get 30 minutes of exercise in some days. So the way we can tackle this issue on how to give attention to each of these 5 categories of health and wellness is what I like to call the 60% rule. And the 60% rule is something that I just came up with in my attempt to defeat this overwhelm and this feeling like I'll never be able to dedicate enough time in my day to meet every single category of health and wellness. The basic principle behind that is that you don't have to dedicate time to every single one of the 5 categories to be an overall healthy and well-balanced individual. All you have to do is you have to dedicate your effort to 60% of those categories. Now, if you do the math quickly on your calculator, you'll probably see that 60% of 5 is 3. So on a given day, you only have to dedicate your time and your efforts to being a healthier person in 3 of the 5 categories. I'll use myself as a bit of an example just so you can understand how I apply the 60% rule. Now, on a given day, I will be exercising. Typically, it's about 5 days a week. So 5 days of the week, I'm meeting the physical requirements when it comes to a holistic view of health and wellness. Most days, I'm also usually reading or learning a new skill or practicing a skill. So that also kind of covers the intellectual piece. I'll also, on a daily basis, connect with loved ones or family. To meet my 60% on a typical day, I am meeting the physical aspects of health, the intellectual aspects of health, and the social aspects of health. I'm at least dedicating some time every day to each one of those categories. You'll notice that out of these 5 categories, I'm actually missing the spiritual and emotional pieces. So you could say that I'm actually a bit deficient when it comes to dedicating time to my emotional health and my spiritual health. But there's a solution for that, and the solution lies in the 60% rule. The point of this of this idea and the point of the 60% rule is that we're dedicating a bit of time to different categories on different days. So there's always some sort of balance taking place. Some days of the week, I will be removing one category from my 60% and adding in another. So as an example, on a day where I'm not exercising, I'm taking kind of a rest day, I'll put in some time and some dedication to a spiritual practice or an emotional health practice, whether that be some meditation or journaling, whatever it is that I feel like doing. I will make sure that on days where one of my categories isn't being met, I'm replacing it with another type of practice to improve my own health and well-being. The way you balance out your week and the 60% that you dedicate to each and every day is kind of your own flavor and your own choice. At this point in my lifetime, I feel like I want to dedicate more time of the week and more days of the week to physical, social, and intellectual practices. And that's my own choice. That's personally what I feel like doing. If you're more of someone that likes to dedicate a daily effort to a spiritual effort like meditation, then yeah, that's your choice as well. We all get to choose how we want to balance out this whole holistic approach to health, to cover these 5 categories, to be just a better person overall. So however you want to balance it out and however you want to dedicate your time, that's totally your choice. And yeah, just go for it however you want, so long as you're dedicating at minimum 60% of your effort. And what I mean by that is that you're hitting 3 of those 5 categories. Really, that's all that matters. You can hit all 5 if you want and you have time in the day. That's great. Good for you. But to keep things realistic, I think hitting 60%, hitting 3 of those 5 categories is pretty manageable for most people, even if you have a really busy lifestyle. To get a better understanding of where you stand right now in terms of the 60% rule, track your progress over the next week, or to look back to what you've been doing each day of the past week. Write down which categories of health and wellness that you've been dedicating your time to each and every day. Now, you might not be even hitting 60%, but that's okay. The point of this exercise is to create a starting point and a new launching point for applying this rule to your life moving forward. There's 2 key benefits to doing this tracking and tracking the categories of health and wellness that you're hitting. One is that you're actually going to be able to keep track of your progress. You're going to make sure that you're dedicating time in your day for yourself. It's really easy to get lost in distractions in today's world. So making sure you have time to dedicate to your own well-being is important, and having some sort of tracking system has always helped me. The second benefit is you can look back and you can see how much time you've dedicated to your own health. It's a positive reinforcement and proof that you've given time for your own well-being and time for you to improve yourself, no matter which category of life that you've chosen to do it. It's just this record of you taking care of yourself, which is very important in life. This is just a quick video that I wanted to make, and I hope that this idea of the 60% rule is something that you can consider and kind of put into practice, or at least test out for a little bit just to see how it goes. If you want to try this out, let me know how it goes. I would love to hear your feedback. Small changes in life can build up over time and compound. So keeping your focus on hitting just your 60% over time can have a much larger impact than trying to do everything at once, getting overwhelmed, and quitting. Let me know what you think down below, and we can start that conversation. Until next time, bye.